Do you ever stop to think that maybe it's not the algorithm? Maybe it's you. More specifically, your brain. So, who am I? I've been a content creator for over 10 plus years. I've been full time for over 5 years now. I became a successful creator once I started to change the way I thought about everything. And it didn't happen overnight. It was something I had to work on, but I felt that just being aware of these things really just changed the game for me. So my first few years as a creator, when I was trying to be a full-time creator, I just kept hitting a wall over and over again. I was trying so hard. I was overworking myself. I was doing so much, and all I could see was no return. I wasn't growing. I wasn't getting campaigns. I just wasn't even really coming up with any clever ideas. And I definitely wasn't finding myself as a creator. I had no idea who I really was and who I wanted to be in the space. I just knew that I wanted to create and have a community. Over time, of course, finding who you are comes as a creator. But if you don't have a healthy mindset about things, it's going to be very, very hard to grow, and it's going to be hard for you to see opportunities that are right in front of you. And it's going to be hard for you to let the universe know that you trust it and that you are ready for all that it has coming at you. I know that sounds woo-woo a little bit, but that's how I feel, and I want to share this information with y'all. I'm going to try to keep it very short and sweet and share with you the mindset shifts that will help you be a better creator in 2025. When you're trying to be successful as a creator, there's going to be a lot of dips. There's going to be a lot of times where you doubt yourself. You may not see results immediately, especially in this industry. It takes a while to grow your community. It takes a while to build trust with brands. It takes a while to figure out who you are in the creator space. And I think something that can really help is trusting the process. If you do everything that you're supposed to be doing, you're working, you're you're putting in the effort, you're doing all the right things, then all you have to do is trust the process. Eventually you will see some results, and you just got to say, you know what, it's going to happen. There were a lot of times where I doubted myself and I wanted to quit. But I said, you know what? I know there's a lot of people out there that are feeling the same and they're going to quit. And what's going to make me be ahead is not quitting, letting them quit, letting them fall off, and I'll still be here standing. So I guess you could say I trusted the process in that regard without even knowing it. And eventually I made it on the other side. And I can always grow. I can always do better. I can always be more successful, as we can all. You just gotta trust that if you put in the work, the universe will have your back. Okay, we're gonna switch it back to my car because that light is so harsh out there. It was really cloudy when I decided to film this. And then all of a sudden the clouds parted, which is amazing, but didn't make for a good video. I could have canceled it, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it because today's video is focusing on mindset shifts. And one of those is done is better than perfect. And honestly, I'd rather just do this video and have it done and give you this good information than worry so much about being absolutely perfect that I don't even get it up, or that I have to stress out so much in doing this that it becomes a burden. And that's not what I want. What I want is to get this information out to you. And I think a lot of people that are trying to be creators don't get things out there and they don't advance because they're so worried about the little things. Nobody cares if there's just a tiny imperfection that only you notice. I'm hoping that the lighting isn't so bad that it makes this unbearable to watch, but I know that the information is good enough that it might keep you here. So I'm just gonna go with it. A lot of people don't do things because they're worried that the lighting isn't good, the sound isn't good, my idea is not good enough, I'm not original. Honestly, just do it. Just do whatever you gotta do. There's a lot of people out there. Think about this one. This is a one that I always think about. There's a lot of people out there that are not creative, not talented, and let's just say it, really dumb, but they're doing really well and they're successful because they're getting out there and doing it without worrying about being perfect. Meanwhile, Someone like you might be perfectly talented, very smart, super creative, but you're not being seen by anybody because you're too worried to put it out there. And you're just like sitting on an amazing idea or something that might help somebody. I don't know. I always think that's an interesting thing to think about, that there's people out there that are successful because they are just doing it and they're not thinking about it so hard. So remember, done is better than perfect. And honestly, perfection is like our worst enemy as creators. That's something that I always like to keep in mind when I'm creating. Just get it done, get it out there. I think this one's also very important because the more you do things, the better you get at things. And for instance, when I first started doing transition videos, which is what I'm known for, oh my God, it took me forever. And then I would finish it and it would just be this messy thing that I probably would have wanted to reshoot, but I kept telling myself done is better than perfect, and I would just post it. And now, after doing it so many times, I've gotten so fast at doing them, and I can make them look really clean in a short amount of time. And that only came because I just kept doing it. And honestly, I think it's inspiring sometimes to see how people improve over time. So, just keep that in mind. Done is better than perfect. Another thing that really changed the game for me, believe it or not, was understanding that I needed to treat this like a business. I think a lot of people think that being a content creator or an influencer means you can just film things and film your life and then magically you will get a following, but it's can't be further from the truth. There's a lot of business that goes on behind the scenes. And when I started, I was in my early 20s and I would just treat it like, oh, it'll come. If I post about my stuff, it'll happen. And it wasn't until maybe my mid 20s that I realized I had to really sit down, schedule my day, look at my analytics. I actually like to treat my days like a normal 9 to 5. So I wake up in the morning at around 7 a.m., go to the gym, make my breakfast, get ready for the day, and then work all the way until 5. And that work can be anything from me making this YouTube video to going to a coffee shop and shoot photos, creating some creative reel, whatever it is. But I am focused on my job at that point. I am answering emails, I'm going through contracts, things like that. If I were to just nonchalantly work whenever I had time and create whenever I felt like creating, then obviously the business would take a lot longer to grow. Treating this like a business helps keep the momentum moving forward. If you aren't treating this like a business, you're doing yourself a huge disfavor. You're doing yourself a disfavor. I don't know. I don't know if that's correct, but you should be treating this like a business. You should be setting your work hours. It doesn't mean you have to work 9 to 5, 7 days a week. Set your hours for whatever works for you. And if you're doing this part-time, then make sure you are setting apart hours and scheduling in time to actually focus on this business. Let me tell you a little story. When I was in my 20s, I got invited to Coachella and I was working with a couple small brands. And this was before influencers had taken over Coachella. I'm part of the problem, I must admit, because I was one of the people that was trying to convince brands that they needed us. I was wearing these outfits. It's like, oh, cool, I'm wearing these outfits to Coachella. I'm collaborating with these brands, blah, blah, blah. I'm so cool. But I ended up getting too drunk, crossfading, and not posting the right photos, not really treating it like a job. That obviously didn't do very well. They weren't really happy with the images. At one point, I even tagged the wrong brand on a story. Fast forward to now, years later, and understanding that this needs to be treated like a business. If I was working with a brand and going to Coachella, I now know to separate my business and my pleasure. So I'd probably arrive, make sure that I got the content that I needed ahead of time while I was sober, and then wouldn't let loose until later when all the content was filmed and everything was done. I feel like I'm spending a little more time on this part, but it's because I think it's so important. So even when I'm traveling now, I treat it like a business. If I'm traveling and I'm going on a content trip, if I'm on a content trip, I'm on a content trip. But if I'm on a trip with my husband and I want to also enjoy my time, we have learned to schedule on and off days. Or split the days in half. So maybe we'll arrive and do a few days where we are full content day. Like we know we're there to get some fun content. and fully focused. And then the next couple days, now that the content's out of the way, we get to relax, enjoy, and just be fully present wherever we're traveling. Or we will get work done early in the morning, set apart that time, and then turn it off and make sure we are present for the rest of the time together. Treating content creation like a business helps you be more present. It helps you be more effective. It helps you organize your life. And overall, it's going to make being a creator a lot more fun. I think a lot of growth comes from being uncomfortable, by putting yourself out there, doing things that just like make you feel weird. For instance, for me, I became a way better creator once I started not caring about creating in public in front of other people. And the only way that happened was to continue to do it. And little by little, I started to feel more comfortable. Same thing goes for showing up on your stories, talking to a camera, posing for photos. All that is super uncomfortable in the beginning, but you have to push through it, and eventually it becomes super natural, and it's not as uncomfortable as it used to be. So lean into that discomfort. Once you feel comfortable doing everything, try to find things that make you uncomfortable. For instance, for me, I like to try to push my boundaries creatively with how I edit. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I think that's what would make me a better creator, just constantly pushing that. Find comfort in discomfort. I think the second you are comfortable is the second you stop growing. Another big one is understanding that there is room out there for everybody, and just having a big abundance mindset. And I know I'm not the first person to say this, you've probably heard this before, but it's one of the biggest things for me. It actually made a huge difference. I used to really think that if I didn't rush to get to where I needed to be, if I didn't get to the numbers that I needed by a certain point, somebody else would beat me to it, and then there wouldn't be room enough for me. I really thought that. I remember I was so focused on other creators getting invited to things, getting collaborations that I wasn't getting, that I wasn't even focusing on my own inbox and seeing how many opportunities were being sent to my inbox. I was being invited to events, I was being offered collaborations, and I was just focusing on the wrong stuff. If you're constantly looking at other people's numbers, what's their engagement like? What collaborations are they getting that I'm not getting? Instead of keeping the energy with you and letting the universe know that you want to grow, that you're open to opportunities that are going to come your way, you're sending all your energy to this person. And I really, again, I sound very woo-woo. There's parts of me that are a little woo-woo, but I really believe that energy is so strong. And if you're out there pushing if you're out there giving energy to this person, the universe is going to say, oh yeah, that person, right. Let's continue to give this person that. And the sad part is that you're going to notice it because you're sitting there watching them being like, oh, there they go again, growing. Instead of looking at your own strength, your own unique things that you have to offer to the world. There's room out there for all of us. You have something that nobody else has. And this sounds so cheesy, but it's absolutely true. And the only way you're going to find it is by focusing on yourself, harnessing your own unique talents, your own personality, finding out who you are, who your community is. Focus on yourself. The more energy you give yourself, the more you're telling the universe that you are ready to grow. You're ready to get whatever the universe needs to give you. Let me tell you a little story. For whatever reason, it was a moment where I was like, oh, that was like a very clear example of the universe being like, bitch, focus on your own stuff. So when I was starting out and when I was focusing a lot on what others were doing and why I wasn't being invited and why I wasn't growing and blaming everything but myself for my lack of growth and my lack of success, I saw that there was a big PR party in Los Angeles. Everybody was invited. Literally every influencer I knew, big, small, and celebrities, were invited to this. It was like a big summer pool party. I had worked with this brand before, and I just didn't understand why I didn't get invited. And I remember being so upset and so disappointed in myself, and I felt so bummed for like 2 days. I didn't even create. I didn't answer emails. I think I like took some time off and I was just Charlie Browning everywhere. And I remember going and checking my emails. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see. I'm going to dig through my emails and see if they sent me something. Because why is everyone invited but me? So I go through my emails. And sure enough, there is an email from them inviting me a month prior. Of course, I didn't notice it, though. You know why I didn't see it? Because I was too busy looking at what everyone else was doing to actually spend time on myself and see what opportunities were in front of me. And that was a big turning point for me because I said, okay, this was right in front of my face. I didn't even notice it. I literally just was being a negative Nancy. I'm so lame. I look back at old me and I'm like, ooh, girl. This moment was a huge turning point for me because it made me realize that I was so focused on what other people were doing that I wasn't focusing on myself and I wasn't seeing the opportunities that were in front of me. And I said, you know what? That's it. I'm no longer going to be seeing what other people are doing. I'm not going to look at them like that and say, why not me? Why didn't I get that? That's such a jealous girl way to think. And it's negative as heck. So from that moment on, I said, that's it. I'm going to focus on me. I'm no longer going to be looking at the next person and seeing that the grass is greener. I'm going to focus on watering my own damn grass. And I started to really focus on myself. I stopped paying attention to other people. I stopped looking at other people's analytics, other people's engagement, stopped comparing myself. I don't think it's any coincidence at all that all of a sudden I started to get a lot more collaborations and big ones. I think I was filling a space in my life by focusing all my energy on other people and all the things that I wasn't getting. And in changing that focus to myself and away from them, I think I left an opening in the universe for more opportunities to come to me. And that is the moment that I started to work with bigger brands. That's the moment that I started to get brands more regularly. I started to grow, focus on myself. And every single collaboration I got, every single follower I got, every single awesome opportunity I got, I would celebrate it. I would literally, even if it was a tiny celebration, maybe it was go buy myself a coffee and spend some time at the coffee shop, or go out to dinner with John, or just like actively do a little dance, whatever. I would celebrate it just to let the universe know that I wanted more of that and that I was so grateful for it. And in doing that, I think it just kept bringing more opportunity. So abundance mindset, it's a big one. Probably my favorite one. Okay, have to say this one. Never forget to work smarter, not harder. Find systems that make you more efficient. There are so many AI tools and apps that can help you in your creation journey. You can have ChatGPT write things out for you, although you shouldn't fully rely on it because sometimes it can be very obvious people are doing ChatGPT. But you can have ChatGPT help you. It can help you brainstorm. I use it sometimes to write out preliminary ideas or emails, and then I'll go through it and make it my own. There are apps that can help you edit. There are apps that will edit your videos, like even my YouTube video right now. There's an app that can go through and take out all my ums and likes. Like, that's crazy. There are websites where you can find people that will do freelance work. So if you don't have time to edit something, you can hire somebody on Upwork, and have somebody edit the video for you. Don't overwork yourself and create just a bunch of content because you think you have to be so consistent that you have to be creating every single damn day. Create smarter, create impactful content that is aimed towards somebody. It has a purpose. There's an audience for it. There's a reason you're posting about it. Don't just post and post and post and post and think that the more you post and the more consistent you are, the more you're going to grow and be successful. No, you're just going to burn yourself out. It's actually better to post less with more purpose than post more with less purpose and being chaotic. You're going to make your community bored of you also. Use more apps, use more AI, create more purposefully, create slower even. I find that creating slower helps me be more purposeful, and it helps me not burn out. Just be smart about how you create. Do not work harder. Working harder does not work. A lot of successful people, especially the rich, know that it's not about putting more time into something. It's about utilizing all the tools that you possibly can to make sure that you're actually working less and making more money. Do not burn yourself out. If you burn yourself out, you're not going to work for anybody. You're not going to work for yourself, and you're not going to work for your community. And nobody wants you to show up to work being burnt out and in a bad mood. Just go home, sleep it off. I promised I would keep this short and sweet, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope this helped you. I know that keeping these things in mind will definitely help you be a better creator in 2025. It will help bring you more success. It'll help keep you focused. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. And if you like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll be dropping some more helpful videos for my creators. Thanks for watching.